I'm giving YouTube a second to catch up to the rest of us. So we about to do some work today, y'all. We we were looking through content that was posted about the black market um this weekend. And so we low key wanted to go live last night, but realistically it wasn't possible at midnight. So we're doing this live to dive into just teaching and being very intentional about reaching back. Right. That's what it's about. So if you're free this Saturday, this is a perfect time to increase your net worth with the information we're about to dive into. Um, awesome. Gia, you ain't even got to look at it. It ain't even that type of party. Just turn the audio on and you'll be good to go. So if you have not seen it yet, we posted a video today. It was about a 1.5 minute clip that was captured at the event. Um, and along with that 1.5 clip last night. So in our stories, we initially posted about the first minute of that clip into our stories and posted about somewhere between 6 to 8 questions for people to engage with. Um, because I think it's super important not just to create spaces, but to create opportunities for people to be able to truly benefit from. And so one of the things that our Stop Shop's entire team did with the Buy Black Market, other than just putting on this huge event, we educated every single person. If you were a vendor of our event, you received a week worth of emails just telling you how to prepare mentally, business structure wise, um, business model wise. We gave out a lot of information from nuances to knowing how to balance engaging with customers, to knowing how to price, to knowing what type of branding things you need to have, what type of talking points you need to have established before you get to the event, all these things. And so the reason for this live is really to magnify who did and didn't really take heed to the information, right? Like if you went into this event, even if you didn't make a dime, you could have easily walked away with a lot of business connections that could have changed the trajectory of your business, a lot of distribution chain connections, and a lot of resources to either cut down your cost of acquisition, increase your profit margins, increase your support system, expand out to different markets. It was not just if you went into this just thinking, how much can I sell today? You didn't understand what you were walking into. And I think it's imperative that we be very, very vocal in that so people are prepared and aware of what it is the Buy Black Market is. The Buy Black Market is not another event. It has never existed. The purpose of the Buy Black Market has never existed for the Black community in modern time. The equivalent of it is Black Wall Street. And if you really aren't knowledgeable on Black Wall Street, then it's kind of gonna fly over your head. Um, but yeah, so we posted this clip. It was about a minute and a half clip, and it was literally one of our vendors from a completely different market just walking through, showing y'all the businesses. Now, within this role, it was truly a wide variety of businesses, everything from handcrafted pens to clothing companies to nonprofits to authors to bookstores, to I want to say candle companies, amongst a couple of others, right? And so in the midst of this, she made it through the whole hour in a minute and a half, which is a problem in itself, right? Because she crossed paths with 30 different businesses. And to have been able to walk through and walk past 30 different businesses in a minute and a half speaks volumes about how many of those businesses didn't even have a brand and state of mind when they saw her, right? Majority of the time she spoke in the video, she was initiating the first point of contact with businesses, right? Which is a problem in itself. If you're thinking about branding, nobody should have the business ability to talk to you about your business before you talk to them. It should never go in that direction. If you're talking about business development, um, people should know what your business is about. They should have to they should have to blatantly reject or decline what it is you're trying to engage with them about. It shouldn't be a situation where it was just like they just pass you by. Like if somebody walked past, or if you were an impression that somebody was just there for speculating, it's because you didn't do your job. And I don't say that to attack anybody. I say that to just drive awareness to what the difference between branding and trade shows are about versus your average pop-up shop and stuff like that. Branding, sales are the byproduct of branding, quality branding, right? People, if you brand well, people will be inclined to try to buy it on the spot. Branding is all about getting your name out there, getting your company's brand awareness out there. It may be the logo, it may be the talking points, it may it to the point where it's like people know about your business even if they don't know who owns it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the difference between branding and selling, right? I was having a conversation just off the casual. One of our clients is Body Armor. One of our marketing and branding clients is Body Armor. And here's why I'm about to say that. We were having a casual conversation up in, you remember in the vendor break room while while all the photographers were eating and stuff? Were you up there? Okay, so it wasn't him. It was me, Shola, all the photographers were in the vendor break room. And I noticed that in the vendor break room, we had complimentary just stuff. We had snacks, drinks, right? We bought a crap ton of Body Armors, right? Because I have we have an extra added knowledge about Body Armor than the average person because they're one of our corporate clients and they have marketing talking points. They have brand specific things about them that you have to know if you're going to be engaging people about their product to make you understand why they vary from your Gatorades and from your Powerades and from all of those other sports drinks out there, right? So as I was talking about, so as I noticed that all the Body Armor was depleted because people thought it was just juice, right? I said, well, if nothing else, we know they're not going to be cramping this. They ain't going to have no leg cramps. That potassium going to get them right. If nothing else, we know ain't nobody going to be dehydrated. The electrolytes from that coconut water going to make sure that don't nobody pass out from dehydration at our event, right? It was a guy just casually, a part of his conversation. He was like, I've been drinking Body Armor. He said, after hearing what you said, that made me feel good about it being a Body Armor drinker. I didn't know none of that. Those branding talking points made him realize, damn, I've been making wise life decisions without even aware of the fact that I was making wise life decisions. And so if it comes to Body Armor, and I'm going to use Body Armor as a prime example because they came into a saturated market. Everybody has their sports drinks. Everybody has their price point. Body Armor is actually more expensive than most sports drinks. Typically, a case costs about 150% to 200% of the average price of a sports drink. So then it becomes even more imperative for you to be able to explain to people why the value is there. Well, it's your daily vitamin supplement. It's your cocoa. It's your source of electrolytes. It's your source of potassium. So if you find yourself overwhelmed by being on your legs for extended periods of time, if you find yourself in environments and you know you don't drink enough water, this is going to be the balancing act to what you know you don't do that you need to do. And so this isn't me doing a shameless plug for Body Armor. This is really me just trying to help you understand the difference between branding and telling people or expecting people to come buy a product. The branding sales are the byproduct of quality branding. And so here's the awesome thing. If you look at that video clip, which I hope everybody did or everybody will after this, and you actually pay attention, a lot of people had great physical branding. They were logoed out. You could at least tell what their companies were. You could tell to some extent, you could tell what their products were just from looking from the outside in. But if you aren't engaged, if you don't have a call to action, right? How many people have been to a state fair, a NASCAR? What's another one? Any of the festivals at this point? How many people have been to anything? Even fundraiser events. Chevy had a car out there, let you do test drive, everything. But how many people have been somewhere and you came across a business and they're letting you try something or they're pulling you into an activity? Put a 1 in the comments if you have ever been somewhere. It may have been a state fair, it may have been a festival, it may have been a concert, and they're pulling you into an activity. They're either getting you to record something, they're either letting you do something, they're either giving you something. Prime example, if you've ever crossed Chevy anywhere, Chevy giving you something. They're giving away shirts, they're giving away bags, they're giving away They're giving away cups. They're giving away what other stuff? They're giving away mobile chargers. They're something right now. That thing, 9 out of 10 times, it ain't got nothing to do with cars, but it's a call to action. You have to do something to get that thing. My bamboo. If y'all have ever seen my bamboo plants, um, I got those from from some campaigns we were doing with State Farm. They were doing home and garden shows, so they were giving out small miniature bamboos in this jelly. For you to get the small miniature bamboos, there was a call to action. You had to sign up for. You had to fill out a quick survey, a 1 minute survey. That was the call to action for the thing. What the hell does State Farm have to do with bamboo? Nothing. But it was based on the environment. The environment was a home and garden show. So it made sense for them to give out bamboo. But the only way to incentivize giving out the bamboo was having a call to action. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of the businesses out of the two business, if you actually watch the full video, which I like about the full video, there was only one person with a call to action at the very end. You didn't I don't even know who it was, because she didn't actually put the camera on that person, but they said, spin the wheel to get a deal. Spin the wheel to get a deal. I heard it, right? I heard it. It was like, spin the wheel to get a deal. Well, and then you hear somebody in the background say, get a deal. Now, I have no idea who that was, but I was inclined to be like, who out here giving out deals? Where the will at? You get what I'm saying? That call to action, it seems super insignificant, but it's that simple. It does not have to be fancy. It does not have to be super formally sure. He might have been having y'all spin the wheel from an app on his phone, but the call to action is already there. So I'm now looking, well, what type of deals you got? What could I get? I now have something to play off of. What do you even sell? I don't even know what you sell, but I'm curious, what's the deals I can get? You understand? That call to action is super imperative. Another one is understanding your pricing. One of the things we sent over to everybody was understanding your pricing. A lot of people price based on what they saying other people charge, which is bad for business. That's why events like this are so beneficial, because somebody might be able to get your cost of acquisition down. If you charge $50 because it costs you $40 to get it, well, at that point, your profit margin is only 25%. And that's why you have to charge $50. But there may have been somebody there in the distribution process, part of the process, that literally, she said, that's not true. I also had a call to action and almost every customer used it. I need you to elaborate, because I'm not sure what you mean by that's not true. Tell me what's not true. But if you, because I want to make sure I respond to that accurately and not just gloats over. Now, the other aspect is the cost of acquisition. The reason why there are other people there that are in the same business, because y'all not at the same level, and no two people are at the identical same level in business, especially if you make custom products or personalized products or anything like that. So what does that mean? That means somebody probably has either the capacity to get a different price point you're able to get. They probably have a different distributor you have. Oh, you weren't okay. So Black, you weren't even in your app. You weren't even at your booth when the camera passed you. So because you weren't at your booth when the camera passed you, your call to action was never actually relayed. So that's where your problem lies. One of the things, and let me hop on that real quick. She said she had a call to action. So Black wasn't at her booth. So Black's business was one of the businesses that were in that video clip, that 1.5 minute video clip. However, she was not at her booth while she was there, right? Now, here's the biggest struggle with getting people to do your job or represent your business to the extent that you will represent your business. It has to be mutually beneficial. It just does. A lot of people don't understand a lot of people who don't have the passion or who don't understand the why to the extent you understand your passion or understand your why, you have to make them care enough to want to put in the effort. When it comes to branding, it's a very lucrative industry. A reason why it's a very lucrative industry is because I can't afford for you to half-ass represent my brand. That's why they make a lot of money, even with no educational experience, even with no degrees on any of that stuff. Because if you're telling me I need to be excited about Chevy, I got to make you want to be excited about the check that Chevy's going to run you, right? And so that comes, and I promise this is full circle. So that comes back to the So Black thing. You have to make it mutually beneficial. For our volunteers, you have the ability to earn stuff, and it ain't just food. We incentivize that process because it needs to be mutually beneficial. You need to understand it. If you don't show up the way you need to show up, you're gonna miss your window of opportunity to be able to volunteer and earn the things. In this situation, it's literally um it's in this situation, it's literally mutually beneficial. Majority of people that sign up to volunteer for us are business owners. Well, if you don't do what you need to do on the volunteer side for us, there's no way for you to even earn the incentives to become a vendor for us, right? You have the ability to earn free vendor slots by being a volunteer, but it's going to stand out to us if you half-ass representing the overall event, but then you expect to be able to make money off the event. That makes no sense. It's mutually beneficial every step of the way. How you engage with these people at the point of entry, wherever you are at the point of entry, whether it's with shirt distribution, whether it's at the door, whether it's at the telling people they can sign up as vendors, whatever. If the traffic doesn't come, if people aren't excited to attend this event, guess what happens outside of you may or may not earning the complimentary vendor slots. What's going to happen is people ain't going to be inclined to come back to the event. So when you become a vendor, what does that mean? That means traffic is going to be down. That means people ain't going to care about what type of businesses are here. It's mutually beneficial every step of the way. Right outside of the monetary, slower traffic means you're going to have to work harder to make sales with the people that do come. That means it may or may not be more competition. It means there may or may not be more people inclined to come with things that can in the long run help your business, like people in other markets. Right, if your market is saturated, the most beneficial thing you can do for your business is getting to other markets. It's called blue ocean theory. And that's in another live. Go back and check out that live if you need to understand what I mean by that. But the So Black, for prime example, So Black came from Chicago, right? Some of the businesses that were at our event, it may be a lot of those in the Raleigh, Durham, blah, blah, blah market. But it may only be like one or two of those in the Chicago market. The person who recorded the video was a necessities company. It came from the Charlotte market. Your product may be saturated in this market, but that may have been, and they also do distribution for other businesses. So that may have been a person to get you an entire market without you having to come up with all the expenses to be able to travel down there, have lodging, have housing, have the ability to store it, have the ability to transport and volume. All these, like, these are the connections you're not thinking about. You're thinking about, can I sell this person something real quick? But you're not thinking about the fact that, like, this can change the trajectory of your business. You now in 3 markets at one time, but you only physically got to be one place. And people talk about the stuff they like. Black people more than any other group talk about the stuff they like or the stuff they dislike to everybody. If they hate it and they got a lot of negative stuff to say, you will know. If they love it, and this is what they rock with, they liked you, they connected with you, they your product was great, they will try to find you, or if they know who you are, they will drive awareness to you. Prime example, a number of people gave 7 in the City products when she did the event in April. The branding was the problem. 7 in the City tried a lot of products that she loved. She could not find the businesses again because they weren't clearly branded. She ain't know what the companies were. At that time, we didn't have enough time to do the vendor spotlight page. So it was no way to even kind of go back and assess off of, like, maybe some things that mirrored the packaging she got. Another example, somebody literally has been inboxing and DMing us, who was a vendor at the last event. She was trying to find a vendor that was across from her. She didn't know the name of it. And so the most we could do is direct her to the vendor spotlight page, because we don't know the name either, because there were a couple of people that weren't exactly where they needed to be the event of the day of the event that she participated in. So it was like, we can give you an idea. You get what I'm saying? But we can't give you concretes. So it's like, that equally matters. It says first, 29th, and 1,000th impression means everything. Oh, please don't let this follow me. So yeah, so it's those little things. But more importantly, understand, it is a lot of, for you to be able to do business well up front, it requires, from the very beginning, it requires doing a lot of work up front. It requires doing a lot of nuanced stuff. Stuff that is draining, that you don't see revenue from immediately. but it allows for you to continuously build on that revenue. Prime examples of it, the vendor spotlight page, right? That is a permanent fixture on our website. So now people will always be able to go back to the August 2020 vendor spotlight page and see every business who included their company logo or their image up front, as well as your site or your social media. They'll be able to double back to see what types of offerings there were, what types of versatility there was, what types of products you had. They may be able to even see your evolution based on how updated you keep your stuff on your side. We're not updating the vendor spotlight page again, but if there's an evolution that happens with your company, they'll see it. They'll see where you started based on they're not going to be able to go back too far, but they're going to see based on August 21st, this is where their logo was, this is where their products was, this is where their service was, this is what they were offering. And now look, everything involved, the company's logos and imagery have evolved. The talking points have evolved. How they share content has evolved. They'll be able to see the trajectory your business is on, and it may actually pull people in. But also people who missed out on the opportunity to be able to get around because they were actually networking and connecting actively during the event, they now have a way to kind of double back and be like, oh, all right, these are the ones that's doing this. Let me connect with them. This may be a powerhouse. There may be a way we can capitalize on this as a collective, yada, yada, yada. So that becomes something too, right? What's another one? Nobody should have to ask you about your business. In a space like the buy black market, nobody should have to ask you about your business, especially if you are a vendor. If you are a vendor at an event like a buy black market, at a trade show, anything, nobody should have to ask you about your business. Nobody should have to say, oh, what do you have? Nobody should have to say, so tell me about your business. Nobody should have to figure out or inquire about your pricing. Nobody should have to inquire about what deals you're offering. Those are the things that should be up front and center. Why? Because this is a moment where you have the ability to cross promote. Now, here's the thing that stood out about that video more than anything else. It was self-evident she was recording the video. At a couple of the booths, she even stopped. Oh, that's really, really nice. Or look, it's so many, and you see her going back and forth between booths. In that moment, let me pull you in. Let me tell you more. You're already recording. Let me make sure this. I don't know what your reach is. Your reach might be 5 people. Your reach might be 50,000 people. I don't know. So I have to take every moment to capitalize on free marketing. That means if you got a camera in my face, I should be ready to go. I should be able to tell you what my business is about in less than 2 minutes. Because that's probably how much time you're going to give me when it's not mutually beneficial to reach whoever you're reaching with what you have going on. But then secondly is I may be what somebody was looking for and they didn't even realize that I was here. That's the second point about that. So when we say you should have your intro, you should have your call to action. You should have a structure that incentivizes people wanting to not just learn about your branding, but convert to sales on the spot. Like you can't offer what you offer every day when you're in these huge spaces, because what happens? People are just going to follow up with you. 80% of people don't buy on the spot, but even more so than that, a larger percentage of that 80% of people don't like the idea of dealing with buyer's remorse. And if they don't want to deal with buyer's remorse, well, that means they want to sleep on it for a little while. But if you have a call to action and you incentivize the process right there and right now, an event exclusive promotion, a genuine limited time offer that factors in those pricing things that we covered in the emails, right? People are going to be inclined, even if they didn't buy it on Saturday, they're coming back. And that's where the retargeting thing comes, right? This weekend only. This is why typically trade shows, stuff like that, aren't one-day events. They're several day events. And the reason why they are is because it allows for people to extend out their reach on your behalf. What do I mean by that? So this Saturday was insane. Typically Saturday we don't end up with flash flood warnings and storms, right? So this Saturday we had 2 hours of event, of event hours, in my opinion, 2 hours of event hours before the fire and brimstone of rain came and the flash flood warnings kept going until 6, right? So typically on a Saturday, what'll happen is people will come out, They didn't realize that your business offered such a diverse variety of things you offered, or they didn't realize those were the added benefits to your product over somebody else's, which is why you got to engage, right? And then Sunday, they'll bring out somebody that was looking for exactly what you offer. And that person typically ain't gonna come along because their thinking is, if you found that, I wonder how much more stuff is gonna be there. And so they bring people with them. And so now you have the ability to retarget in that moment. You don't have to pay none of the retargeting dollars to do it through advertising, stuff like that, email chains, text messages. It costs us $100 to send out the text message we sent out to you guys to let you know about this live retargeting. You understand? So you cut all of those expenses just by being in a place long enough for people to make it back to you after sleeping on it, after knowing about the incentives, after checking out your site. This is why having a place, a lead generation in place matters, because if they really liked what you had to offer in that moment, but they didn't want to, they're part of the 80% that didn't buy right away, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go check your site. They're going to be like, oh, wow, the prices really are more expensive on the site. They're going to go check your social media. Oh, wow, that really does cost more. That was a deal. Let me double back and grab that real quick without the shipping costs. Or they're going to notice that. They're going to notice the shipping costs. They're going to notice you don't have a couple of, they're going to notice your next event ain't for another month. Or they're going to notice your next event is in a different market. Or they're going to notice that that's a limited run product line that you're doing. All these little things. So every piece equally matters. But a lot of people, which triggered this live, a lot of people didn't even do the initial thing. They did not actually brand themselves. You seen people on their phones, literally talking on their phones, blocking off their booth entryway. You seen people with their backs to where the actual traffic was coming from. You seen people literally just stand, not engaging you about their product, just standing there watching you watch them. Right? You seen people literally sit down, waiting for you to come into the space. If you got more space, you should be utilizing that space to pull people into it. All right. If you had anything over 8 feet, that was the perfect excuse to say, hey, come check these things out. This is what we offering. Or this is the bestseller. Right? I know you're looking at that. You should come and look at our real bestseller right here. People love this. You have to know your brand more than the people looking at your brand do. And you have to know what may align with that portion of your targeted demographic. There was only one person. And if you sell something that people, there aren't immediate gratification things like books, like services, like information, like resources. In those moments, you have to be even more proactive. We are a financial literacy company. We teach financial literacy. We teach business development and strategies. We teach how to leverage the resources you already have at your disposal to build wealth. We teach you how to get into spaces that typically have high price points of entry, plus a level of expertise and knowledge that'll get you pushed out of eliminated real quick, right? Without the turnover rates. Like, people ain't excited about that. Every single vendor paid to be at our event in some way or another, right? Meanwhile, y'all didn't take heed to all the information given to help you maximize it. And this was for you. The information we gave was so when you showed up Saturday, Sunday, the whole weekend, Friday, early setup, so that you were fully aware of what you were walking to it, but more so that you had the ability from the very jump to be equipped to thrive. And 80% of y'all still ain't pay attention. So if that's the case, right, you already paid for it. We're already in a business to business relationship. You already paid us for what it is we're about to offer you in this space. And then we gave you the information. We literally laid out a blueprint for you to have optimal success, and you still didn't take heed to it. And I'm saying this to say that if you are somebody that does not meet a need, you're not an isolated person, i.e., you're the only person with water and people are thirsty, i.e., you're the only person with food and people are hungry, i.e., you're the only person with a shirt and people ain't got no clothes on their backs, right? If you're not existing in that isolated, if you're not meeting a need in such an isolated way that nobody else has the capacity to do it, you have no choice but to do the work to make people receptive and understand and aware of why your business matters, why your brand is doing it in a way or meeting a need completely differently than everybody else, um, to allow for people to understand why it matters now, why they should take heed to it now, why it's relevant now. You understand what I'm saying? And 99% of the business, I'm not going to say 99, 90% of the businesses that were at that event were not monoliths. They were not the only people capitalizing on doing what it is that they were doing. So if that's the case, you really got to make people understand, like, let me tell you why I needed to be in this market. Let me tell you why I needed to be in this industry. Let me show you why this industry was missing the variation of whatever it is I offer in the way that I offer it. And a lot of people weren't thinking like that. A lot of people were thinking, I got this. I showed up. Now it's time for you to do your part and run up the check. You were not going to sell out from waiting for people to enjoy your product or waiting for people to just kind of explore. It's a huge space. People lazy. People are going to maximize just getting through as much as they possible so they can be like, oh yeah, I seen it. I seen it. Seeing it is not the same thing as understanding it. It's not the same thing as being connected to the brand, not the same thing as driving awareness to the brand, not the same thing as even comprehending what it is you offer. So, um, so if you can think of even one moment, one instance where I'm gonna give you a prime example. Prime example that you did the job that you showed up at the Buy Black Market to do. You ran out of business cards, especially if you had under 1,000. If you had under 1,000 business cards and you ran out of business cards, you showed up ready to brand instead of just make some sales. If you ran out of samples, you showed up ready to brand instead of just make some sales. You had lead generations in place. Let me explain what lead generations are. They may be an email sign up. They may have been a promotional sign up. They may have been a follow. They may have been getting somebody to follow you on social media with some type of incentive in place. They may have been um, getting people to check out the website on the spot. It may have been getting people to do something free with some type of incentive on the back end, right? It may have been allowing for people to put themselves in a position where they could be retargeted, whether it's some text, phone call, email, um, social media inboxes. There's one person. Shout out to Terry Ngioma. I'm gonna tell y'all what. Trade and travel. She teaches stock market trading. One thing I like about her is if you follow her on social media, she DMs you telling you thank you for following, welcome to the community. So if your call to action is getting somebody on your social media, how do you get that engagement once they're there? Because we know the algorithms are set up where only about 30% of your followers or supporters or whatever even see your content. So how do you get the engagement so you stay on their radar? The numbers don't matter. How do you get the engagement? Even in that, there has to be a call to action. There has to be a follow-up content, a retargeting strategy. And a lot of people don't have the retargeting strategy. So what's the easiest way to do it? The easiest way to do it is going to be a call to action on the spot. It's based on whatever it is your business offers. It may be participate in something for a discount. It may be if your focus is sales, if your focus isn't brand development, if your focus isn't to have 10 people that talk to you, tell their 10 other people about your company. If your focus is just come in contact with this person, let me get them to buy something right on the spot, then your lead generation has to incentivize them buying on the spot. Spin the wheel to get a deal. Lead generation to force them to buy on the spot. This expires at the end of the day. Lead generation to buy on the spot. We're doing an event exclusive promotion at this price. Lead generation to buy on the spot. If you buy this, shout out to Adam's Cake Factory. If you buy, I think they had some type of sale or promotion going on the spot. If you bought 2 or 3 or something, you got something free right then and there. What's another lead generation to buy on the spot? This is an event exclusive, right? So in our case, it might be the Buy Black Market shirts. We're not going to sell Buy Black Market shirts outside of Buy Black Market events. Next year, we're probably revamping all of the Buy Black Market shirts in totality, right? So it's like, um, you have to have, if you want the sales immediately, knowing that 80% of sales don't happen immediately, you have to have a lead generation call to action that incentivizes conversions on the spot. A lot of people didn't have that. There was one person I did see where it was like they had racks where like everything was 15 or something like that. I didn't see it in detail enough to identify the exact company or the exact product. I know it was clothing, but I can't tell you exactly what it was, so I don't want to make it up. But that and it seemed like they had created that sign on the spot. But even in that, we told y'all prepare your signage for whatever route you need to take. You need to pivot into, whether it's you're preparing signage to be sold out, right? And take pre-orders, whether you're preparing signage to incentivize certain products or services being utilized at a higher volume, whether you're preparing signage for people who are vendors to do business with you. If you do something that has the ability to exist in a business to business relationship manner or a collaborative manner, you should have your business lead generation call to action. Hey, I can get you this. If we do this now, you can bring me in on a project, or you can or I'll do this. I can do an event this size for you, or I can host an event this size for you. Or a shout out to Sir Concept, because I see he's in here. He's an event planner. But it's like your call to action has to align with what it is you want to happen. So for us, our call to action is almost never immediate outside of the raffles, right? Our call to actions are always based on giving you the time to get yourself mentally prepared for what it is we're going to do for you. So our call to action is, hey, sign up for the free masterclass. We're going to give you 11 tips to learn how to generate income, how to save and generate income. And that way you have the ability to kind of double back to it. One, they're going to come to you in increments. So it's going to give you time to assess it and think through what you got going on. But then secondly, it's going to give you time to be like, well, if I do this, I can afford that. Because you're going to learn about more stuff about us, and you're going to be like, oh, that price point is, I mean, that's kind of high. It'd be like, let me double back to those 11 income generator hacks they was talking about. How can I make this money? Let me see how they can help me make this money real quick. Instead of me looking at your price point and being like, oh, like, right? So our lead generation is based on the long-term goals we have for anybody that falls into our sphere. It's economic empowerment. It's Black economic empowerment. If our main purpose of our business is Black economic empowerment, where we understand wealth ain't built overnight, it's a process. So our lead generation has to allow for you to, no matter, meet you where you are, right? A lot of people are cash strapped. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people got entrepreneurial spirits because they needed to survive, right? So our lead generation is going to be based on equipping you with enough where you can start to execute. You can see the benefits of what the information we're given, and then you can allow that to pivot into other areas of your life where you're now understanding why the credit matters, where you're now understanding why the business leverage matters, where you're now understanding how to invest without overextending yourselves, little stuff like that. Am I making sense? If I'm still making sense and y'all still here and y'all still understand what I'm talking about, just put a 2 in the comments real quick, because I want to make sure this is making sense to somebody outside of us, outside of my team, and how we're working on stuff constantly. So if you're still here, you understand what I'm saying, put it 2 in the comments. Cool. All right. Just want to make sure none of the internets then went chaotic. So let's just run down that video real quick. That video, if you have not seen the video, it's posted on our Facebook and our Instagram. Take a minute and a half to watch it. When you have a minute, you don't have to do it right now. It ain't going nowhere. And then I think y'all still have like 8 hours or so to look at the like questions asked in the stories. I recommend anybody who is a business, who likes to do pop-up shops, who has a desire to get into trade shows, who does front end person to business to consumer, business to business engagement. I recommend you answer those questions for your business. It doesn't even eat whether you did the Buy Black market or not. If you've done an event recently, answer those questions for your business. That is going to let you know where you're lacking in the lead generation or the conversion process, right? And may let you know where you're lacking in the branding understanding as well. Now, if you were a confirmed vendor, if you see where those holes are, go back and check your email and look for the event prep emails. It was an email sent out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of one whole week of event prep tips and info. Go view those. It's a lot of information. If it feels overwhelming, that means there's still a lot of work for you to do. That's a good sign. You now have the information to start executing on so that the work can get done right, well, effectively. Um, Now, first thing that was noticed, when the necessities company enters the row, there's a business to her left, there's a business to her right, all the way down. Very first business, they're engaging with somebody, or at least they kind of were engaging with somebody. It's two people at that booth. The people are technically starting to walk off. So that was an open end. Now, the very first vendor is an author. He's selling a book. Books are people going to judge books by the cover, whether no matter how much no matter how much we tell them not to judge a book by a cover, we judge books by the cover. We have been conditioned to do that way. So what do you have to do? You got this black beautiful girl on the book. The book almost looks like anime. You now have to tell me why this book is not anime. This is actually a novel. It's a high quality series. Because once you get my foot in the door, I buy the first one, I read the first one. I'm probably gonna read the rest of them because I don't want to miss a part of the story. That's how Harry Potter thrives so much, right? Second company, it's a number of people at the booth. However, the person who is at the booth is not busy engaging with the number of people at the booth. What is your thing? In that moment, that means if you're not busy engaging, that means you have time to talk. If you have time to talk, if you have time to greet me, you have time to talk to me. And if that's the case, then it's a perfect idea to say, "Hey, come on over, come check out this. What's in it?" Or in that case, it was Miss Mastic. All right, Miss Mastic. I'm not picking on you, but I'm picking on you. So Miss Mastic, yeah, we've talked about Miss Mastic a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna just run down. I'm gonna run down the booths that we saw. I'm gonna just run down the booths that we saw. If this offends you, I love you. Just remember that, and I want to see you win. Miss Mastic, she had the ability to engage, right? Now in Miss Mastic case, she has these custom, she has these bath bombs and she has these bubble cakes, right? They look like food. Now the thing that messed me up, Miss Mastic had a cupcake, a brownie sundae in a jar. This smelled like chocolate when you opened it. It's not. It's bath bomb stuff. It's bubble bath stuff, right? In this stage, I would have been like, "Hey, come." Especially if now keep in mind, y'all don't see the whole video, but I see the whole video. The vendor is also holding food in her hand. I would have been like, "Hey, come smell this chocolate sundae real quick, cause you ain't got dessert, you just got food. Smell this chocolate sundae real quick." You would have smelled. Ooh, that smelled good. Can I get one of those? Actually, it's only a that is how you pull somebody in. You know what's going to stimulate them differently. They're clearly hungry if they're carrying food, or they just finished eating and they may need a little dessert to top it off. Either way, you now have a point of contact. You now have something to pull their attention from out of the aisle straight over to you. That wasn't done. That's not to say it couldn't have been done in other ways, but that was an easy way to get it done in that situation. You understand? Next booth. Next booth is what was the next booth? Give me that phone. Let me pull up the video. Next booth is I want to say it's a nonprofit. They have a photo backdrop. In a nonprofit booth, it's one person standing at the very front greeting. It's two people sitting on the side. It's two people standing in the booth. They look like they just doing their own thing. Perfect excuse to say, "Hey, we're doing photos. We're doing free photos for you to just take a picture showing off what it is you survived this year. You can sit your stuff down to the side. We can get your photo real quick." Only thing that happens is, "Hey, how's it going?" She walks by. Next booth is a clothing company. The vendor is holding onto her rack with her hand on her, and she's on her phone. No engagement happens whatsoever. That what I heard happen is the cash register closed. That's what I heard happen. Next booth to the left of that is somebody who sells handcrafted pens. She turns around. She admires the pens. She talks about how nice these pens are. Now he's engaging with somebody. However, there's a second person in his booth. The second person in this booth is just messing with a Gatorade bottle set back. That was your window of opportunity. That if you got a team, your team should be ready, that your team should have the capacity to execute on your behalf. They should understand enough your talking points, even if they don't know anything else. They should know your simple talking points. Hey, these are handcrafted pens made out of blah blah blah. We can, I don't know who you are. We can custom make them to include your anything you want on it. You come look at these ones. People love these ones right here. She's already admiring this product. She's talking about how she admires this product. You let her walk by. You completely let her walk by. That made no sense. Next one is clothing company. There's one person in the booth. He's all the way at the back in the corner. He's all the way at the back in the corner. There is never a point of engagement whatsoever. Now she does a full 180 on this booth, to the point that she catches this in the background. You understand what I'm saying? So she's literally this way, and she does a full 180 of the entire booth, and she literally catches this, which is literally behind her in the booth setup. At that point, I could have showed you something in this booth that would allow for you to, oh yeah, people love this one right here. Make sure you get a close up on that. That's gonna pull you into the booth. At that point, I can say, "Hey, yeah, we actually make custom block." Now, this the black booth. You get what I'm saying? Everything that is black excellence is captured in this booth. From the Malcolm X to, yeah, we actually make custom. And this is so black's booth. So here's why that matters anymore. We're actually out of Chicago, but this is what we do. No point of engagement happens whatsoever, though. And then we get on to the next one. The next one is a skincare company. Now, the person who is the vendor for it is there. He's standing up. He's not engaging with nobody. It's people at his booth, but he just looking like a guard, monitoring the people at his booth instead of actually engaging. No point of engagement happens there. Then, and this is why people are under the impression that Sam is like a good kid. No, Sam is a part of the business. My favorite part of vending is talking to people and connecting. I look at it as fun work. Rose Quartz, Emily, Monty. So here, a lot of people are blown away by Sam, right? They're like, oh my gosh, she's so smart. Oh my gosh, she's on it. No, Sam is minding our business. Sam is an equity owner. Sam benefits if we eat. If we get money, she get money. If we eat crabs and lobsters and yada yada, she eat crabs and lobsters and yada yada. She obsessed with these poppet things right now. Poppets run about $10 a pop. You ain't popping nothing if you can't afford to accumulate the money and revenue that's needed. This is the business move we're on. You need to be able to mind the business that allows for you to obsess over the stuff that are not necessities but leisure. Sam has to know the basics. Sam can have a conversation with you about our stop shop better than any of us. And she's adorable, so that's automatically a factor to pull in. We walked past the booth. The one of the vendors was clearly working through something. However, a kid that was Sam's age or older was literally just walking up to the front of the booth, like chilling. That would have been a moment. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this was a nail company. They made custom clip on it, press on nails. Here's why that matters. There were only like 2 businesses from the whole weekend that even did that. So this was a perfect excuse to say, and the person recording is a woman. I don't care if you like nails or not, but you're going to learn about them today, or you're going to have to tell me otherwise. Hey, come check out my mom's nails. I'm assuming, come check out my mom's nails. She makes them custom. You're going to have to tell me no. But chances of you telling a kid no is even smaller than chances of you rejecting an adult. Right? So that would have been somebody for you to at least find out what they do, what the price points are, what types of products they're offering, with how custom can it get? You understand? Next booth is a candle company. Huge booth. Now I might have jumped some ahead because I'm not looking at it, but I'm reflecting off of what I remember seeing in this video. Is a candle company. They got a 16 by 8 foot booth. They have a nice display setup, right? It's 4 people sitting at the booth. Not a single person is standing up, which automatically creates a very awkward engagement. right? But then secondly, nobody's inviting you into this huge booth. So it's a huge booth with all these nice candles, but nobody's actually inviting you into the space. So what are you going to do? You just going to some they they just want you to see it. All right, well, I see you as I keep walking. No point of engagement happens. It's four people. They're completely available. They're all, well, one or two are on their phones kind of looking down, but it's at least two people facing forward. Like I showed up, but you don't need to show up. You need to actually engage. You just let me walk by. And they had a really nice line of candles amongst some other things, if I'm not mistaken. But that's exactly how the money walks back past you, just like that. You were waiting for me to come over. Yeah, you had space, but you were waiting for me to invite myself into your space. That's not how it works in these types of spaces. You invite me into your space. You tell me what I need to be feeding into, and I may notice other stuff along the way. Oh, I like this too. That's the best thing you can. Oh, I like this too. This is this. What's this one? After you've already pulled me in, you got me looking at stuff, you got me smelling stuff. This one right here smells good. Everybody let away this smell. Like it's a whole lot of people, but nobody's doing anything. And that's the difference between branding and just expecting something to sell itself. Nothing sells itself in 2021. Nothing sells itself. That's the hard truth. Nothing sells itself. We spend a lot of money to market, even to vendor signups, and understand they don't sell out immediately. We had vendor registration open for almost 3 months. And as people realized their window of opportunity closed, then people started executing on information that had already been sent to them. They've seen it several times. It had been retargeted them, everything. Nothing sells itself, even when it's beneficial to you to do it, have it, utilize it. It doesn't sell itself. Next one. Next company, she's a candle company. She's engaging. Now, interestingly enough, the thing that I know that most people don't know looking at this video is the other candle company that was busy engaging, she's engaging with the health insurance man. The health insurance man is literally going around because he understood the biggest portion of his targeted demographic were entrepreneurs that didn't realize they actually had the ability to be eligible for subsidized health insurance programs and amongst other things. So he's at her booth engaging with her while somebody is manning his booth a couple of hours over. So what does that mean? That means he's minding his business where his business needs to be, but he's also building on the brand awareness about his business everywhere he goes. So she's engaging with him based on what he has to offer her, not vice versa. That is not to say that it didn't end up flipping and she ended up exposing him to candles and different things while they were engaging. But the point is, he made sure to execute in a moment. He was there all weekend. He realized not every business would be able to make it to him, but he realized a lot of the businesses needed what he had to offer. So he showed up with them. He had the sign, right? So if somebody walked past, he low-key had the sign right there for you to kind of notice what he was talking about while he was talking about it. You understand? Everything don't have to be rah-rah in your face. Okay, so go past the candle company. Let me see, because there was a couple more too. And if y'all notice, the person recording is actually the person initiating most of the engagements. You're hearing people say, "Hey, how you doing?" As in response to her saying, "Hey, how you doing?" But she's the customer. Customers ain't in most situations, until the brand loyalty is there and yada yada, customers don't come seeking you. You have to bring them in. You have to pull them in. You have to drive, especially if you're a new company. People don't understand what makes you different from nobody else. They don't understand what makes you special in sense. That's what branding is about. Allowing people to understand what makes you special, why people like you. Amazon ain't become a household name overnight. Point blank, period. eBay got pushed out by Amazon. They started, once you understood what made them special, they started capitalizing on it in an aggressive way, right? Give me a second, because I just opened up the thing, because it's a couple more that I need to make sure I pinpoint by name. Now, the one company that I will say they got it was I don't want to make I don't want to mess up his name. He was the author, Nubian Man, Ralph Burgess, Burgess Publishing Company. Burgess Publishing Company was the first company out of the whole clip that said, "Hey," And he let that greeting go into allowing you to understand what his company is. Hey, we make books, and the books are catered towards this. We're self-published. If you didn't find out nothing else, even if you wasn't looking for a book, in that moment, you're like, all right, I came across one publishing company here. So there may have been something where it was like, I may not be looking for your book, but I may be looking to write a book. I might be looking to figure out how to publish a book. Well, I may have questions for you. You may be a resource in a whole different way. And I may want to just buy your book to figure out what the quality of the products you produce as a publishing company is. You understand? So so that's the other side about it. I'm just letting this video run real quick. So after Miss Mastic, we passed Miss Mastic. That's the nail company. Then there's it's two clothing companies. One clothing company, she got really nice racks, but she's literally blocking the entry. Uh she's literally blocking the entry of everything, and she on the phone, so she clearly is not receptive of nothing you have to say. Next person, I mean, the person right before her, they're a clothing company, and their backs are to the entry of their booth. Their backs are to both of them. It's two of them, and their backs are to the entry of the booth. Clearly, you're not welcome into that space, and you're not gonna go out of your way to be like, "Hey, can I get in and see what y'all got going on?" No, nobody's gonna do that. It's still a lot more to see. Then there's this company. I don't know what this company does, but before that company, it's a book company. They're not an author, they're a book company. One of them's on the phone, the other one is just chilling, sitting back. The number one saying about Black people is the easiest way to keep it from us is to put it in a book. You really thought books was about to sell themselves? You really didn't think you needed to pull people into like a bestseller? You didn't think you needed to tell people about this dope book sale or promotion y'all got going on? You didn't think you needed to at least drive people's awareness to, hey, we do books catered towards the representation thing would have at least kind of went somewhere on its own. Just anything. It's so many ways to do it. The signage and the designs are great, but it's so much little stuff. And I want y'all to look through this video because y'all think I'm creating these stories. But if you just look through it, you're like, man, that was nice, but I don't even know what it was about. And then when you have a more marginalized group, right? So one of the companies on this aisle is a company who caters towards products magnifying your religious belief in God. Whatever God you believe in. It says God first always, right? So in that moment, you got to make a personal connection based on moral compass stuff, because everybody doesn't believe in your version of God. Everybody doesn't believe in wearing their religion or their faith. Everybody doesn't believe in monopoly. And let me tell you what's kind of sad about this candle company, because they got a little bit of everything. Warmers, the works, right? Even the person in the Burgess publishing booth, he pulls down what he has going on. He's reading something. He's clearly reading something, but he pulls it down once he realizes somebody is present. There's a clothing company where they're kind of all the way in the back, all the way up against the wall. They up against the wall looking down, right? Forever Fresh, we love them, but Forever Fresh, they literally blocking the entryway to their booth, but all of their inventory is lining the sides of the booth. So you're talking about people who can't even get in to see what you have to offer, and y'all aren't, like, the chairs are there as roadblocks almost. So I believe almost every, if not every single one of these businesses made money. Almost every single one of these businesses made revenue. But understand, like, this video is evidence of why a lot of people didn't make the money that they could have made. And the other side to this whole video is there's somebody walking in front of the necessities company the whole time and does not get stopped. It's a family. They do not get stopped. They make it down the entire aisle and do not get stopped once. That is the revenue that was missed. It wasn't a traffic issue. It was an engagement issue. What was your two-liner? What was your call to action? What did you do to pull people into your space and out of the aisle where they felt needed to talk to you a little bit more now that they're there? I'm here. Might as well tell me some more about your company. What was your, how did you incentivize getting conversions on the spot versus just giving a business card and letting them follow up to you when they thought about it or didn't think about it? What type of personal connection did you make for them to attach your brand to an experience versus just a product? Those are the types of things that you have to think about. Did your pricing make sense for what it was you were offering? Did you connect with anybody while you were there that could have helped get your pricing to a place where it was more competitive based on your industry trends and based on your profit margin? Like, your competition is not your competition if you understand how to use it in your favor. Think about it. Who came out with the first 4 for 4 deal? Wendy's, right?
Yeah.
And now everybody got a variation of it. They got some variation of a 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 or everybody. The McDonald's, so even in that, if when I look at this video, it's like three different candle companies. Well, I'm pretty sure all y'all price points ain't the same. Y'all products aren't the same. Y'all packaging aren't the same. The things don't look the same. Yes, go off. She said, say hi, then my motto. She says, I say hi. So this is SG2 Raw. I'm gonna tell y'all why I love her in a minute. But this is SG2 Raw. She said, say hi, then my motto. Jam packed and ready to grow. With my script of organic ingredients. Exactly. I'm gonna tell y'all why I like SG2 Raw. One, SG2 Raw sold me on her product when I was just coming to make sure her booth was all right. Seriously, I was only there for 2 minutes. I literally was like, "Hey, how the booth going? How y'all are y'all still good with this location? Yada yada yada." Before I left, I had smelled it. I found what I was looking for and didn't even know I was going to find it. And then secondly, speaking of that, we just used SG2 Raw product literally yesterday when we was oiling all our hairs. But she sold me our product within 2 minutes. And then she was the added reminder I needed in the midst of all the mayhem and demands pulling me in other directions to double back to make sure I got it, because I came across her while doing other stuff during the event. You get what I'm saying? I came across her by doing other stuff during the event. So I seen her even when I wasn't looking for her. And not to say she was like stalking me or anything, nothing like that. But you get what I'm saying? She was retargeting with me while just minding her business. She was retargeting me throughout the event. I was like, I need to make sure I get that because I need the peppermint. Like, you understand? Retargeting is most of the job when it comes to initially branding. A lot of people, a whole lot of people, this weekend we ain't doing nothing, we're quarantining, but a lot of people came across our initial advertising on social media, through people they knew about, yada yada yada. But most people, we retargeted them at events. They seen us front and said, "Oh, that's who. Oh, that's y'all. Yeah, I've been seeing this. I didn't know who it was." Or, "Oh, yeah, we've been meaning to feed into that event. I got caught up in blah blah blah." Retargeting is literally most of the work. So if you never get the branding, the initial introduction of branding right, the retargeting process is going to feel almost impossible. A sign that you did or didn't do your job at the event is how thirsty you were. No jokes. A sign that you did or did not do your job as a vendor at the buy black market is how thirsty you were. If you weren't thirsty at the event, you probably didn't do your branding job right. Right. And here's why. Because the more you talk, the more dehydrated you get. And the more you need something to drink. So if you were able to go to that event and you ain't even realize where the water or what beverages were available for you, you probably didn't do enough branding. If you came with less than 1,000 business cards and you left with majority of them, you probably didn't do enough branding. And not just as an individual, but as a team. So if you came with a team and your team was able to chill and get a lot of stuff not connected to your business done during the event, you probably didn't do enough branding. You get what I'm saying? That we talked to one person. She said, I sold out. She said, I'm out of business cards. I got to reorder. That is a sign that you did enough branding. That means a lot of people left with your lead generation, whether it was business cards, flyers, magnets, whatever you had. You get what I'm saying? And so I say that to say this. If you were a vendor at this event, and most of this is just like, I feel like I don't even know what she's talking about. Go review those tips. Go review those 4 emails that was sent worth of tips, prep tips, because it's not going to get easy. It's not going to get easier from here. It's not going to get smaller. We're not pulling it back. We're trying to get y'all in a position where y'all have the ability to do this event at higher scales in arenas where it ain't even you. It's like you're pepper. You're pepper for a while until enough of us fall in lockstep are able to transition into those arenas with you. We trying to get you into the spaces where it's like you become the supplier or the service provider or the research, especially if you make crafts, if you make a tangible product, you can easily become the distributor if you're willing to white label it for another company's branding materials. That's our desire. Our desire is to get you right in those ways. Our desire ain't just for you to make a lot of money at a bad black market. Our desire is to get you positioned, packaged, branded, situated where it's like we can pitch you as the alternative giveaway or branding material for one of our corporate clients to use at even bigger events or at tours at because they give away all types of stuff. They've done everything from hair products to phone wallets to pens to bottles to shirts to you got to be able to get that cost of acquisition down. You can't be trying to get a branded corporate contract with your shirts needing to go for $30 a t-shirt. They not budgeting like that. You got to be able to get your cost of acquisition down for mass distribution to somewhere between $5 to $7 a shirt. And if you still struggling to even be able to get this priced enough for you not to be charging twice as much as the profit off of it, it's gonna make it hard for you to get in those spaces. If $110, 130, most majority of the vendors for this event pay anywhere from 110 to 130. If that felt like a lot, it's gonna hurt your heart when you find out that being in the events that we're trying to get y'all prepared for run you 5K just to be there, 10K just to be there. Like without any of this, they ain't feeding you. They not making sure you have support staff for setup or breakdown. They not making sure that you read the fine print. Ain't no refunds. You get what I'm saying? Ain't no they don't care about your lodging expenses. You got to bring your own staff. You can't be unmonitored. The fees for needing electricity are in the three figures. That pipe and drape is a mandate. If you utilize any space outside of it, you talking about four figures in fees. Like we trying to get you in spaces where it's like you're gonna be isolated, but you gotta be able to have your stuff together to be able to exist in your own right here first. Where one contract could change the trajectory of your entire thing. Like ain't nobody doing no vendor spotlight pages. You gotta do all of your own marketing. Ain't nobody doing no what else did we do? What else? And vendor shirts. What? Get your branding together. And if it's not high quality branding, you're not gonna be able to let that pass.
They also put their business names on the radio.
We only did a couple of those, but I get what you're saying. Like it's a lot. Yeah, the advertisement for the event do not include the businesses. Ain't no vendors. Ain't no nothing. You got to pay for all your own branding from the beginning to the end. And most of those don't drive revenue on the spot. You can't even sell. You're literally just there to brand. If your lead generation ain't in place, you're not going to even be able to tell what your sales are. Chevy put $50,000 in for a week at the state fair just to get email signups for potential customers to send to the people that do the actual selling and pitching and email blasts and stuff. We just trying to get y'all familiar with the process. Like, oh, I haven't ever did this before. Maybe I need to look into how to do that for my company. I never had this type of branding before. I need to figure out how to do this for my company. I never even realized that I needed a website. I don't have an email list. How do I get them on my email list to even retarget them? I've never even had to If they ain't buying a spot, I ain't know what to do with them. Business cards. And business cards don't have to be physical. They can be, you know, the analytics. You get them on your site and then what? Because even as soon as they get on your site, most people don't buy right in the specs. Do you have the analytics in place on your site to even be able to track them to retarget them? You get what I'm saying? It's a lot. It is a lot that we do on the back end that we're doing on y'all behalf, but we trying to get y'all right. So it's like everybody has the ability, no matter where you go, it's like, oh nah, people show up for me. People know what I got going on. I can see exactly what conversion rates there are. You know, y'all can, a lot of people who gave us, who were even on the vendor spotlight site, you don't know what percentage of that traffic came from the vendor spotlight site because you don't have your analytics in place. Which means if you had a high conversion rate or sales traffic come to your site, not just come to your site, but actually convert, you don't even know what percentage came from the stuff that you had going on with us because you don't have it in place on your side. So it's the little stuff like that, right? You have no idea what the click through rate is from our things, where we post about you, where we talk to you in our stories, where we whatever, right? You don't know what those conversion rates are for your followers, for your website traffic, for nothing. Because those little things, it's a lot of small moving pieces things to get in place. So it could be a situation where it's like, if you don't mess with our stop shop, you don't agree with our stop shop, you don't agree with our language, you don't agree with how we walk, how we talk, how we look, the way we go about stuff, we would love for you to be able to do it too. But are you knowledgeable enough to even get the same pieces in place? Or are you going to regress into what everybody else is doing? Putting a poster together. And this is not to downplay or undermine what anybody else has going on. But are you going to downplay it where it's like you just put a poster together, you rent a parking lot or field or whatever, you get a DJ and you bring people out. And you just be posting about it on social media to bring people out? Or are you going to create it as a process where people have nowhere to go from here but even further up? I can't see what this one says. I can't see what either one of them say. But that's really what our goal is with everything we do. We are trying to figure out how to allow, no matter how many times they cut off the head, you get what I'm saying? It can't stop the trajectory we're on collectively. Scroll up to the green and black. But that's what our logic is behind it. And if y'all read your emails, and I'm putting the vendors on blast mainly because y'all were already financially invested. So you had the biggest impact by whether it went well or bad.
Oh, that's so black.
Uh, yeah, what does it say?
After April event, we literally left all of our signs in Chicago, so we used our wonderful customer service skills to make those sales.
Yeah. And so black, if it wasn't for them taking heed to those lead generations, without that signage, they probably would have felt that even worse. So hands down, yeah, they can't. That's the first thing I noticed. But I said, oh, y'all remember y'all signage this time. But just listen. Shola is our customer service.
Mhm.
Period. I have become very logistical. Y'all get the information from me. If you don't take heed to it, you just miss your window of opportunity. Shola is the customer service. And luckily, y'all will see him a lot more so that I don't have to do that because that's not me. But we came from nothing. Some of us just packaged a little bit better now. So, but yeah, it's this one right here. I can't read on the Renita side. It's on the left side, Thomas. So yeah. So that's what I truly hope. Other side. If y'all have not, if y'all have not yet, if you were a vendor for this event, you should already be on our email list. But if you have not, y'all should see the text number. Text by Black to the phone number. Respond to that. You have to hit see more times. You have to, yeah, right there, because I can't see it. So anyway, if you have not, make sure to text by Black, no spaces, to the phone number to join our Buy Black Market text and email list. It'll ask you some follow-up questions to get you put on the email list as well. At this point, the next update will be in a cup outside of our Money Monday live, which is Monday. Out the next update will be based on when things are secured for the next event dates. The way it is, the way it is looking, unless something very, very drastic happens, we will not be having another buy black market this year because the availability is not there. We are seeking, we are still actively checking into a couple of other places because we really wanted to do a holiday shopping one, which I think would be amazing to tap into those resources you're going to need for the coming year, as well as do all your holiday shopping within our community. Um, but if worst case scenarios, we will be finalizing all of the 2022 buy black markets in the next week, so that way we have all the dates. Um, it will not go live until the up to the website has been completely revamped. Um, and we are working with Next Steps Apparel and Designs on that on the back end. So y'all should see some drastic changes. There will be sponsorship opportunities by a number of Black businesses. We're working on it. We really are. We're really working on it. We're really working on trying to get this December 1, but there are just no guarantees until there are guarantees. Um, One of the things I will encourage everybody to do is be on your fellow entrepreneurs. Um, as much as it is not fair and it sucks that it is reality, the actions of one of us impact all of us, especially with these types of things that we're doing, because it falls on our shoulders and everybody feels the ramifications of it because not as many people have the leverage or flexibility to do it. So I would just be like, I would try to be, without being abrasive like me, I would try to be, just kind of put people, kind of call, make sure there's a level of accountability between your fellow entrepreneurs that you're in close proximity with and closely connected to about their actions. That's not to say be problematic or confrontational. It's just to truly make sure that one bad apple doesn't spoil it for the whole bunch. You get what I'm saying? Every single thing that transpires at the buy black market, it doesn't matter if it's an isolated occurrence or if it was a specific vendor or business that did it. On our side, while there are actions we're taking to weed out a lot of that, understand it's going to hurt everybody else in the meantime. And our goal is to make sure that we can continue on this trajectory in a progressive and productive way. It is not easy, and no matter how it looks from the outside looking in, it is not supported. Um, it is very problematic to create spaces where Black economic empowerment can truly be magnified and upheld in all industries through Black businesses. It shifts the world as we know it and the economy as we know it on its axis if it is built on and the momentum is sustained. So, for those reasons, we just want to help as many people to be able to ultimately be in a position to be able at any point keep the momentum going and keep the mission and the goals sustainable for the collective community, whether we're doing it or whether 5,000 people are doing it. There's no competition when it comes to economic empowerment. I'm going to still be able to afford my house up on the hill. So we would love to have more of us there who can make up that community as well. So yeah, if y'all we'll have questions, we'll have answers as they present themselves. If you're not on our email list, we recommend you get on our email list. Um, says hey Nina. We do the free masterclass if you just need some guidance and help with the economic aspects to be able to execute on the things when given those call to actions of us about the buy black market or other things. Um, that's that. Get on that email list. Y'all can text to do it and you do it all from your phone. Y'all aren't going to be getting as many texts because they expensive. our email list is big. So we spend a couple of $100 every time we send out a text, to be real with y'all. So we don't do the text as much as we do the emails, the physical emails. That's the other thing. If you have not been noticing our emails, go check your spam, go check your junk. If you have Gmail, go check your promotions and get them things out. We will not be given that we're in between Bad Black Markets now. The only emails you'll be getting from us is our weekly live reminders and possibly one other every so often about upcoming events or little stuff like that. But yeah, you want to be on our email list because those are the first point of contacts of people who get notice about what we have going on. The second thing, if you came into the fold directly connected to the Bad Black Market, we have a Bad Black Market exclusive event group. You cannot post in it unless you are a confirmed vendor for an upcoming event. So you're not going to be able to post anything. It's just at this point, there's an update group in between as a part of the planning process. But join that because after our email list receives a notice, the Bad Black Market event group is the second point of contact where we give a notice out. Text messages are a last resort. If you were a confirmed vendor and you have not done it yet, please go fill out the vendor feedback form. That is super, super imperative to drive awareness to things we didn't know that happened or things that we can develop and build on. There are no wrong answers, whether you plan to do future events or you never want to see us again. Do the vendor feedback form. You can opt to be entered for cash, to wipe your hands of it, and possibly walk away with some cash as a last interaction with the Bad Black Market. By all means, we just want the honest feedback. It's super imperative to us to have it because it allows for us to build and evolve and grow and improve in those areas that we are aware of or oblivious to. And yeah, so that wraps that up. We love you guys alive. Thank you for tuning in on a Saturday with us. We know it's been crazy. We appreciate y'all. Make sure to post this or reshare this with somebody, and then also make sure to go watch that 1.5 minute video clip of the Brandon versus there for the quick cash, so y'all can understand what we're saying and start to assess how you're moving when it comes to branding your company um, based on the things that are asked in our stories. Go answer those questions in our stories because that's yeah, we trying to get everybody right. Love you guys to life.